Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Gashi's Kaiman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. Let me start by asking you a question, and please, you can give your honest opinion. Do you think William Samoei Ruto's government can survive without Raila Amolo Odinga's support? You know, there's a narrative that Raila has been trying to tell Kenyans that it is William Samoei Ruto who went looking for him so that he could help stabilize the government. And he had also told us that it is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta who sent him to go and save William Samoei Ruto's government. And I'm starting to believe Raila Amolo Odinga. If you look at Raila Amolo Odinga, you see a man who wants to save William Samoei Ruto and a man who is denying that he's in government. A total paradox. Something that doesn't add up. If you look at William Samoei Ruto is ready to give Raila Amolo Odinga anything. And I want you to look at what Rigathi Gachagua told us one time. Watch here what he told us about the way that Raila is the person who is actually making the government stand. Without Raila Amolo Odinga, this government cannot stand.
Saa hii huyu Raila Odinga akimwambia Ruto amuoshe miguu atamuosha. Because amekwama. Ni kama mgonjwa akiwa katika ICU ako kwa life support machine. Life support machine ya William Ruto today ni Raila Odinga. Ikizimwa fisha. And it is because yeye alitudharau. Akifikiria sisi ni watu tu kawaida. Sasa yeye ni minority. Hii uchaguzi sisi tukiweka candidate yetu. Hii mzee aunge mkono kama atamuunga mkono. Mwingine asimame. William Ruto atakuwa namba 4 ama namba 3 akijaribu. I want to tell you. Because yeye alifika kiwango when my people walimpigia kura. Akafikiria yeye ndio kiongozi ya watu ya mlima. Na tulimuonea huruma tu. Kwa sababu tuliambiwa yeye ni mtu ya Mungu. Yeye alilia. Alikuwa anafunga kuku. Akatudanganya mpaka hao mabishop akadanganya kila mtu. Sasa akafikiria yeye ni mwerevu kuliko kila mtu.
So that is Rigathi Gachagua. And if you have listened to what he's saying, word by word, you agree with me that his message to Kenyans is that William Samoei Ruto cannot survive without the support of Raila Amolo Odinga. I don't want to give a number of reasons why I believe what Rigathi Gachagua was saying then is still true even today. Number one, yesterday we saw the military general and the NIS coming out in broad daylight and warning Kenyans that if William Samoei Ruto has to go, it must be through the constitutional means. And I support that William Samoei Ruto should be removed from office through the ballot. Because that is the way to go. We don't want any other issue. We don't want any other method. Because, and I think this is what is making Raila even to support William Samoei Ruto. Because William Samoei Ruto is so vulnerable, the government is so vulnerable, that if Raila was to withdraw his support, disaster would strike in this nation. So what happened yesterday is a clear indication that these guys were sent by William Samoei Ruto. You know, he's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So he's just there to send the chief of defense forces. Go and tell Kenyans that this way of saying Ruto must go, is something that cannot happen. And then NIS, it is actually something that cannot happen. And when you look at the situation, you realize that these guys are getting it rough also. Because wherever you go, it is Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And we don't know what we are supposed to do, because if you ask me, I can say that this is something that is very, very serious. Because you realize even the kids who are below 10 years, you see them when they are playing their games there, you hear them singing, Ruto must go, Ruto must go. And I think these guys were sent to come and silence the Kenyans. And such that you realize that whatever you are doing, it is something that is not pleasing to the ears of the government. And anytime, it could easily be clashed. The other thing that shows you that William Samoei Ruto cannot survive without Raila Amolo Odinga is Parliament. If you look at the way he dished out all the lucrative positions to Raila Amolo Odinga, the Budget and Appropriation Committee, Trade, Finance, everything, including health, I think he was left with nothing. He surrendered to Raila Amolo Odinga. Because you see, without Raila Amolo Odinga supporting him in Parliament, he will be finished. He can easily be impeached. And Parliament can actually unite against him and send him home. That is something else that Kenyans need to know. Another thing that shows you that William Samoei Ruto cannot survive without Raila Amolo Odinga is because when you look at UDA, the people who have been left in UDA are actually left very gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, the members of Parliament and the senators. Those are the people who have been left supporting William Samoei Ruto. So when you look at UDA, UDA as a party is a shell. UDA as a party is finished. UDA as a party is a pale shadow of its former self. Without Gachagua, without Mulima, you realize that. And you know one thing, that William Samoei Ruto became the president courtesy of the support of the Mount Kenya people and the Kalenjin nation. So what is happening is that William Samoei Ruto has been left with the Kalenjin people. The others have actually left him. And that is why you see William Samoei Ruto is not going to leave the rules of vehicle soon until he gets the grip of this nation. Because you cannot tell me that William Samoei Ruto will campaign day in, day out. There must be something. Again, that's something that tells you that he cannot survive without Raila Amolo Odinga, is that when you look at the cabinet, there's so many cabinet reshuffles. Tells you something. This is the government that has not settled in office. This is a government that is trying to consolidate power even at this time. You know, by this time, the government is supposed to have settled. The government is supposed to have delivered. The government is supposed to have shown what is up to. But today, if you ask many people, they cannot tell you what William Samoei Ruto is up to. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many other factors that tells you that unless and until Raila supports William Samoei Ruto, the government can easily collapse. But now the question is, if the government was to collapse, or if William Samoei Ruto was to leave office, as Kenyans have been saying, Ruto must go, Ruto must go, Kithure Kindiki would take over. But if you ask me, Kithure Kindiki is not equal to the task. In fact, it is better William Samoei Ruto than Kithure Kindiki. What do you think? It is my opinion. And here I agree, we can differ. And it is important. We agree we must have different opinions. We don't have to agree all the time. But if you ask me, if you look at Kithure Kindiki, maybe Raila Amolo Odinga is looking at the alternative. And without William Samoei Ruto, it is Kithure Kindiki. Kithure Kindiki is a greenhorn. Kithure Kindiki is a reserved person. Kithure Kindiki, when you look at him, utaona ni mtu ambaye hako tayari kuchukua hatamu za uongozi. Utaona kwamba ni mtu ambaye he's not battle hardened. This is a technocrat. This is not a leader, if you ask me. In fact, we are better Gachagua. We are better Gachagua. Because this country, because if you ask me, I can say that maybe Raila Amolo Odinga looks at the situation together with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, because I believe these guys work together. And again, when you look at Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka deliberately does not hit William Samoei Ruto hard enough. And this work has been left to the young tax, Akina Babu, Akina Didi Nyoro now, they are coming up, Akina Sifuna. These are the guys who are now coming up. But you look at these guys who have been in government, there's something that they know. And I don't know what you think. But if you ask me, William Samuel Ruto's government cannot survive without Raila Amolo Odinga's support. Please like the video, comment, share, and let me know what you think about this idea. Bye-bye.